I just want to assure you that we are soon going to be getting into the healthcare mess. I mean, that's what, if you follow the drive-by news, I mean, if you read the news, you think it's a mess up there. Trump went up to Capitol Hill today to twist some arms and actually threatened some conservative members of the House that if they didn't go along with this, that he would see to it they didn't win in 2018. Some say he was joking. He's half joking. But it's a fascinating thing to watch how this is all playing out here, and we'll delve into it in just a second. But I want to finish dotting the I's and crossing the T's on what happened yesterday with the Comey hearings. Because you know what I did? I took my own advice, folks, and I went back last night and I watched some election night coverage. And I told you yesterday, if you want to find out why all of this is happening, go back and watch election night. Pick any network, including Fox, it doesn't matter, and start about 7 p.m., and watch a little fast forward, watch a little more, and you'll note that about 9 to 9:30 is when the party-like atmosphere on every network begins to change, obviously and dramatically. And from 9:30 on, it becomes funereal. It becomes panic city. Everything the Democrats were just so certain of is crumbling right before their eyes on their very own maps and tote boards. So I went back and I took my own advice, and I did this. So I was hoping that it would reignite new perspective. Plus, I figured if I suggested you do it, it might not hurt me to do it as well. And I'm telling you, folks, it was what I went off the grid to do this. I shut down email. I didn't know that Trump had a rally last night until it was almost 5 minutes away from being concluded. Because I got home and I went and did this little project, and I didn't respond to anything. I just off the grid to be able to do this uninterrupted. The utter shock, the utter horror, the anger, and the grief of the anchors and the analysts and the reporters revealed to me that these people were so cocksure that this was going to be a Hillary landslide. They were partying, they were celebrating, they were casting each other knowing glances, they were speaking disparagingly of Trump and Trump voters. And it was going to be a rout. And this night, election night last year, was going to be the end of any official opposition to the establishment, to the Democrat Party. That's what the election night in November last year really was. Wiping out Trump was going to wipe out the Republicans. It was going to give Hillary Clinton at least 4 years of Supreme Court nominations, and that would shape the country culturally for the rest of many Americans' lives. And they would be able to do nothing about it. Believe me, election night last year, and they all believed it. It was like you and Christmas Eve when you were a kid. And the shock and the horror and the anger and the grief that slowly crept over all of these people's faces and manners and behavior was just beautiful to behold. They knew they were going to win. They knew they were going to win with a blinding certainty that was created over a span of many months with binging arrogance. Hillary Clinton was going to win in a landslide, period. Donald Trump was going to be wiped out. The Republicans were going to be wiped out. They had their polls. They had their surveys. They had everything, their focus groups. They had all the data. It was conclusive. Nate Silver was telling them 95% chance Hillary's going to win. A Trump win was inconceivable. And not just because they were all assured by stat gurus that Hillary had that 95% chance of winning. They also didn't know anybody voting for Trump. They don't know anybody who believes in God anymore. They don't know anybody who actually works on a farm. They don't know anybody who goes to church. They think they're the mainstream, and they're not. And all of this hit them upside the head on election night. And I'm going to tell you this, folks. This is something, I'm so glad I did this, because I'm here to tell you nothing Russia did created this arrogance. Nothing Russia did created this willful blindness the Democrats and the media had about Trump's prospects. Russia did not hack all of these Democrat polls to mislead Democrats. They believed their own fake polls. They believed their own data. The Russians didn't create it. The Russians didn't create the polls. Nate Silver's not a Russian plant. The Russians had nothing to do with creating all of these fake circumstances the Democrats believed lock, stock, and barrel was going to result and end in a Hillary landslide. Russia did not send fake information to John Podesta, causing him to believe Hillary could ignore Rust Belt states. Russia did not provide fake information to news propagandists, brainwashing them into believing Trump's rallies meant nothing. I even saw some people, those Trump rallies, the audience size at rallies doesn't mean anything. Russia had nothing to do with creating the Democrat Party mindset. They weren't even concerned about the Russians. They weren't concerned about a thing. In fact, for most of the Democrat Party's history, they have loved the Soviet Union. It's true. They obfuscate. They blame. They camouflage themselves. And so it really wasn't that hard to assume their normal character and behavior. They had to blame others, because accepting responsibility for what happened on election night and throughout the whole campaign, accepting responsibility is something nobody in the Democrat Party raised their hand and say, yeah, my fault. No way they were going to do that. This was that bad. This is one of the biggest upsets, and it was out there for everybody to see. It was happening right in front of their noses, and they refused to see it and look at it. They were telling themselves Trump can't win. Trump can't get to 270. Trump can't win this state. Trump can't win that state. Trump can't win the debate. Trump's not going to last 3 weeks. Trump this, Trump that. So now the self-delusion, the new self-delusion is that Russia hacked the election. And the FBI director is helping feed that delusion. He started an investigation of people close to a likely Republican nominee for president. He set up a situation where Trump could possibly be named as a dreaded, unindicted co-conspirator in an election where the only fault Donald Trump has is being a better candidate and a better organizer and a more